4th and goal to go to 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
Here is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
Tour and later shows with the Monkees, Gary Puckett, and Herman's
Dart's has had,
By 1989, Joe Doherty joined as drummer, solidifying the band lineup.
I know one of his first.
In 1991, Rhino Records celebrated their legacy with a double CD anthology, cementing Rob Grill and the Grassroots as enduring icons of 60s rock.
He's had his issues. Okay.
On January 16, 1999, former Grassroots members Joel Larson
hasn't done too bad for himself. Not too bad at all, right? And his article here shows that Jaxson Dart might be making Brian Daboll maybe rethink some things a little bit. Interesting article here. This is from G-Men HQ, from Matt Sidney. Dart had himself a day at Giants camp. Now, I think this was Friday, though. Jaxson Dart might have just made Brian Daboll rethink everything. Once again, if you ever listen to Dable talk about Dart, he always he's rookie. He's got ways to go, but he always says he's doing good. He's learning, right? But of course, you can say this, you can say that, but show me the money. Show me what can you do on the field, right? So it's going to be very, very interesting. These preseason games, very, very interesting. Now, of course, he's going to make a mistake. He's going to make mistakes, whatever. But does it keep making the same mistakes over and over? Right? That's going to be very interesting. The more training camp reps New York Giants rookie Jaxson Dart stacks, the more impressive he looks. And the more impressive he looks, the more head coach Brian Daboll's firm stance on starting Russell Wilson over him starts to look questionable. Now, there was one thing also. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think he threw Dart in there. It was, I don't know if it was like they had a situation going on. It was like whatever. It was inside the 5-yard line or something like that. It might have been 4th down, 4th and goal inside the 5. And it's just like a regular play clock. You got 40 seconds. Well, apparently, what Dart was trying to do was basically almost freaking try to, with I guess the personnel here, and I think he actually had him calling his own play. So Dart was trying to draw up a play with the guys he had in there, and Daboll seemed to be rather impressed. I know where he was going. I know what he was trying to do and all this stuff and everything, but the play clock expired, so he didn't quite. He didn't have quite enough time. But what he was trying to do was trying to draw up some new play that might have just worked. So Daboll was highly impressed about that. Right? Daboll does that. If the first team's on there, first team's in there, and Russell Wilson's in there, and he's running a play, he's running a play, and then Daboll calls a play, and then they call this, and the first team's out there still, and all that, and then all of a sudden Daboll just go, all right, Dart, you get in there, you're not with Dart standing in the background. Well, I'm a second stringer, I'm the second team. That's the first team. So as Daboll's calling the plays out, that's the first team. I'm on second team. So I get to stay in here. Right? I'm good because I'm on the second team. Right? No, it's not the way it works. Usually Russell Wilson will wonder, but what he'll do, he just changes stuff up. Right? He'll be like, all right, Dart, get in there. And you gotta pay attention. Right? Because things aren't always sunshine and roses. I think Rocky used to say that or something like that, right? So you gotta stay prepared. So he does seem happy so far with Dart. We're not putting the dude in the Hall of Fame. We're not saying we're going to win the next 13 Super Bowls with Dart, but he does seem to be happy with him, right? But of course, it's always the proof's going to be in the pudding. What can you do on the field, right? All right. Russ was brought in on a one-year deal to be a placeholder for eventual starter Dart. But what if the 22-year-old is already ready to be thrown to the wolves? Yes, 6 years ago, the G-Men pulled the trigger too soon on Daniel Jones' experience, and that failed spectacularly. But this time, it feels different. Dart's been solid at camp. He's finding his receivers, acing Daboll-schemed tests, and looking more comfortable in the pocket with each passing day. All right. It's been an encouraging run overall, but nothing he's done up to this point matches the production or the show he put on Friday. Keep Jaxson Dart away from your plans. He might just throw a wrench in them. Even when Dart was selected with the 25th overall pick, Dabes made it clear immediately after that Wilson was obviously going to be the starter. He got way ahead of any speculations suggesting otherwise. And as Dart has kept stacking good days, he stuck to the same script, shutting down any rookie starting noise. Might be time to revisit them. On Friday, Dart was on fire. It looked like his own personnel highlight reel. Not even Abdul Carter's ridiculous one-man show could overshadow what the rookie quarterback put on tape. Cool. In no particular order, Dart's first impressive throw came on a crossing route to undrafted rookie Dalen Cambry. Now, Cambry's somebody you got to keep an eye on as well, too. He in college, I think he caught a grand total of like 10 catches as a receiver. But he was very, very good on special teams. So he's going to be one of those guys to keep an eye on. Bo Collins is another one of those receivers, undrafted rookie free agents to keep an eye on as well. Dart dropped it past to Dalen Cambry right in the bucket as he was hitting the sideline. Not to be outdone, Montreal Washington was on the receiving end of another Dart. The 26-year-old went deep. Dart had eyes on him immediately, throwing the perfect pass right into his breadbasket, beating the outstretched corner and sliding to make the play. Don't get this wrong. The throws are nice. He's been showing real strides in his decision-making, and the game really seems to be slowing down for him. But it's the final highlights of the legs that is absolute gas. Dart's arm is great, but that's not the only reason they drafted him. He's also got the burners, and him taking this keeper right through the teeth of the defense for 6 is otherworldly electric. So, the thing is with Dart, what he's going to have to do is what he did in college. Okay, he was like a Cam Scatterbill in college. Somebody's coming up on him, he's low on the shoulder, he's taking him on. Right? Don't want to do that in the pros. Unless maybe you're Josh Allen. Other than that, Dart ain't small by any stretch of the imagination, but Dart better get down, live to play for another down. If it's a touchdown scoring drive in the Super Bowl, or if it's you're running, and you're going to take on contact to get a first down or to get an extra few yards to get the game-winning field goal, maybe to send your team into the playoffs or something like that, go for it. Take the contact. If it's the second game of the season and it's a measly 5-yard pickup and, right, slide, get the 5 yards, even if you have to punt, run off the field, learn to play for another down, right? But Dart's got that dog in him, right? He's got that, right? Same thing with Cam Scatterbill, right? He likes that contact, so. Is one camp practice enough to shake Daboll's decision? Well, probably not. Russ had a great camp in his own right. Yes, he did. From all the things I'm hearing, Russ Wilson has had a fantastic camp. The connection with Malik Neighbors has been electric, and he's even breathed life back into Jalen Hyatt. There's no real reason to question the process yet. But if Dart keeps stacking days like this, he's going to force the issue. He might already be done with camp. Now it's on to the preseason to show if this is real. And if Friday's any indication, Daboll might not be as locked in as he once thought. Now that's going to be obviously going to be another huge thing. is there a time during the season where they decide to pull the plug? That's a tough thing, especially when you got, we don't have an old ball club, but we got a lot of guys got some years of experience, and they want to play. They want to play, and they want to see if they can make the playoffs. And just to go in there, I'm just saying, if we're 4-6, right, we still got a shot at the playoffs, but do we really have a shot at going all the way? So if we're 4-6, we got 7 games left to go. Do we pull the plug on the season? That's also to go over to Russell Wilson too. Look, Russ, thanks, man. We're gonna put Dart in and just ride out the rest of this. It's a tough thing. Same thing what the Giants did back in 2004 with Eli. We were 5-4. Actually, we were 5-2. We lost 2 tough games, and we were 5-4, but we were still in the playoff hunt. And what Kurt Warner was kind of saying, they didn't seem to think that maybe they had a Super Bowl winning roster, right? So maybe that kind of fed into the reason why maybe they pulled the plug on the season, right? But at 5-4, they had a winning record. They had 7 games to go in the season, and they pulled the plug on the season, and they put Eli Manning in there. And of course, he lost his first 6 games and won the final game of the season. So we were 5-2 at one point. We went from 5-2 to 5-10. Those are 8 tough games in a row, I'll tell you what. But Eli finally won the last game of the season. He had a game-winning drive against the Cowboys. And of course, as I say, the rest is history. We were 6-10, and then the next season we made the playoffs. So that's going to be one of those tricky things, very, very tricky things. If they do decide to pull the plug, but without question, Dart, without question, will be getting in on these preseason games. And it's going to be a lot of excitement. And I actually love it. So we got one week. We're playing the Bills. Fantastic.